Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah Bauman, and I am a staff writer here at 1851 Franchise. Thank you so much for joining us today for a discussion around 1851's 2020 Website Awards. Today, I have one of our judges for the awards, Charles Internicola of Internicola Law Firm with me. Thank you so much for joining us today, Charles. We're really happy to have you.
Yeah, this is fun, Sarah. Fun project.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to kind of kick this off, what were some of your overall thoughts, as you were looking through these sites, and did you notice any broader trends?
So, yeah, it was interesting because I think there were over 200 sites that were being evaluated. I was rooting for sites. I'm like, they looked great, but then I found some of them lack some substance in terms of their why, and more important, what they mean for prospective franchisees. So there are a number of sites that looked great, felt like they were going in the right direction, but I thought they were talking too much about themselves and not really diving into what their franchisee candidates, the questions they have in their mind, and really how that franchise could transform their life. And then there were some sites that did it very well. There was a difference between sites that kept using terms like we and us versus you and what the franchise represented to them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think to your point, it sounds like information is always a good thing no matter what you're investigating. But, when it comes to these franchise development websites, information is such a big part of that buyer process. So, what is good content? Is there such thing as bad content? How would you rate that?
Well, I'd say right out of the gate, as a basic, if your franchise sales website doesn't have franchisee video testimonials, assuming you have franchisees, then that's a big mistake. So at a minimum, I think a good franchise development website has franchisee videos talking about their experience, a day in the life, and how their lives have been transformed. I think that's critical. It's important for the site to explain what the product or service is and why there's good potential in the marketplace. But most important, especially with the headline in the website, the primary focus of the website, I think the copy needs to be on point as to what transformation the franchise system's offering. So for example, our franchisees go from blank to blank. That transformation, whether it's wealthy, independent, lifestyle, and I don't mean just generally, but I mean, you need to tell a story about how your franchise system could transform their lives. And the story can't be we give training and we have great systems and all the things that everyone says, but really needs to do a deep dive as to what makes you unique as a franchise brand, and in particular, unique for franchisees.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to that point, what would be a good story to tell? For these, obviously the franchisee experience is a very important one, but are there any other elements to that storytelling?
Well, I mean, some of the sites that I rated very high had avatars on their site of 4 different franchisees and how their transformation through the franchise system. So I know I'm going back to that franchisee validation, which is key for sales. So we know validation is key, so you should have franchisee, not just testimonials, because the time of just having a quote on your website, that's gone. You need those franchisee videos. So that takes care of the testimonial component. And so now let's get into that takes care of the validation. Now let's get into unit economics. So do you have a strong item 19? What data can you legally convey on the homepage about the unit economics? And too many websites use generic statistics and data, like join a $3 billion industry, but that general data doesn't really mean much. The stronger development websites really hone in on their item 19 financial performance reps, actual unit data that'll help a franchisee evaluate performance. I will say too, certain websites I think need a legal review also, because I've seen certain claims that could be illegal financial performance reps. But for me, stick to development basics. What sells franchises are franchisee validation and unit economics. You need to lead on your website, franchisee validation, unit economics, put it all together, which is what's that transformation you offer and what's the unique selling proposition for your franchise brand. So I think brands need to be very specific about that. Also on a secondary level, franchisees buy based on culture and team. So there should also be good copy, maybe videos and data about here's the team, here's what we believe, and here's how that belief has impacted our franchisees. So I feel like so many websites, the site now is good, but doesn't get the job done. If they would just drill down deeper, I think there's gold there. But I feel like so many brands just skimmed off of good potential and then just went forward and said, let's go into other stages where I think they needed to do a deeper dive.
No, absolutely. Well, and I think, one thing that I've noticed as we've been talking with different judges is that, part of the big story right now is COVID-19, and a lot of websites aren't necessarily addressing this. So did you see a lot of websites addressing how they're, handling the, any processes that come with their franchise on their website, or was it kind of neglected?
No, so I'm ambivalent here. I didn't see much about COVID. I do believe on a secondary level, how we rallied together as a franchise system during COVID should be part of that brand story. I don't know if you need to lead with it on the website because I believe it'll be overplayed, but I think that should be part of the story. But I don't think we're in a unique situation or time. Today, COVID is a part of that story. But pre-COVID, maybe part of that story is second generation space, how we help the franchisee succeed, how a franchisee went from corporate America to 4 units and locations. So I feel like COVID should be a part of the story, but no more so than any other franchisee experience that should always be the focus of these websites.
Absolutely. No, that makes sense. Well, so then, one of the big, I would say, steps or aspects of even just a franchisee looking at a website for the first time is visual. Visual aspects play a big part of it. So were there any particularly visually pleasing aspects of the website you were looking at that you think a lot of development websites might take into consideration as they're developing?
Yeah, there definitely was a dichotomy between clean websites and cluttered. Too much copy will kill, especially the homepage of a website. And I feel like sites that didn't get it right aesthetically relied too much on copy, whereas sites that did well were very clean, very segmented in different sections, even on one page. I thought critical was the implementation of contact forms. And so some websites did a great job of sort of a scrolling type contact form that stayed with the page. There's others, what I didn't like was when you click on a contact form and you're taken to a separate page that's a contact specific page. So you're sort of taking them right off your prime landing page, right off your prime sales point. So I thought the contact forms, there were some really good ones and bad ones. Yeah,
no, for sure. Well, great. Well, that's all we have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you being, a part of our process. And, I think you've given a lot of franchise development website developers a lot to think about.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.